Hey guys, JV here with another episode of Journey to Andromeda. I know we talked about combat last time, but there are enough additional weapon details, specifically with customization, that I didn't cover in that video to warrant a new one. We also have a new Andromeda Initiative trailer that focuses closely on weapons, crafting, and more, so link in the description below if you haven't watched it yet. Just a reminder, there will be a new Andromeda video on this channel every other day, along with non-stop Andromeda streaming and guides once the game comes out. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure and subscribe. We're going to start out with guns, and again, there's going to be some overlapping information here, so just hang in there, we'll get to the new stuff in just a second. So we have 4 categories of guns in the game: pistols, shotguns, snipers, and assault rifles. I made the comment, where are submachine guns? Are they not in the game? Are they grouped with pistols? And indeed they are. A tweet from a developer on Andromeda actually confirmed that submachine guns and hand cannons are grouped within the pistols category. So those are still in the game, they're just categorized under pistols, so don't worry about that. There are 3 different types of weapons, you could say, in the game. We have Milky Way weapons, which are ballistic projectiles, what we've seen in the previous trilogy. They have ammunition, so you can run out of that, and they're best against non-shielded targets. Remnant weapons are beam-based. They have a high rate of fire and a high accuracy, but there's no ammo with these weapons. They overheat instead, so you don't have to worry about ammunition. You just have to make sure that they don't overheat, and if they do, you just have to wait for them to cool down before you can start shooting again. Helius weapons are from the Helius cluster in Andromeda, so they are Andromedan weapons. They are plasma-based, they have a slow rate of fire, but the projectiles are heat-seeking, which is unique to this type of weapon, and some of the Helius weapons can be charged for more damage, so keep that in mind as well. In gameplay footage so far, we've seen various different categories of guns under all of the categories of these weapons, so I think you can expect pistols, shotguns, snipers, and assault rifles from all 3 types of weapon classes, which is very exciting. In the original trilogy, you had restrictions on which kind of weapons you could use based on your class, but since there is no class system in this game, at least not a traditional rigid RPG class system, all guns are available to every player. There are no restrictions on what kind of weapons you can use based on anything else in the game. We know that by default you can carry 4 weapons at a time, which is a lot, but we didn't know that you can carry multiple weapons of the same type. So for example, if I want to carry a traditional pistol and an SMG, those are both under the pistol category, I can carry both of those. I can carry 2 sniper rifles. I can carry 2 or 3 maybe assault rifles. You can carry multiple weapons of the same type, which is really cool, and it makes sense because what if I want an assault rifle as a soldier from the Milky Way, but I also want another one that is Helius, you know, that's plasma based with a slower rate of fire and heat seeking? I can do that, so there are no restrictions on carrying only 1 assault rifle. By default we can carry 4 weapons, but I did spot this in one of the combat related trailers. Under the combat skills we have a passive called Combat Fitness, and under the upgrade path for that ability we have extra holsters, actually 2 upgrades called extra holsters. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like we're going to be able to carry more weapons if we spec into those upgrades. Like if there's 2 extra holsters, then that means we can carry up to 6 weapons. That is just speculation because they didn't actually scroll over that ability, so I'm not 100% sure, but that's what it sounds like to me. Speaking of holsters, BioWare has also confirmed that we can holster our weapons in Andromeda. That was actually taken out of Mass Effect 3 for memory reasons or something like that. If you remember, that was actually on Xbox 360 and PS3, so that makes sense. They had some restrictions there. But again, in Andromeda, you can holster your weapons and just run around without your weapon out. In pause menus, we have seen that there's a weight mechanic that directly correlates to your power recharge speed, which is how things worked in Mass Effect 3. But we don't know if it works exactly like Mass Effect 3 yet. There may be some different nuances, or it might work exactly the same. We're not exactly sure yet. Something we know nothing about so far is heavy weapons. We've seen no footage of heavy weapons or anything of the like. We do know that the developers at BioWare have said that they didn't like heavy weapons in previous games. They weren't really in Mass Effect 3. They were only these one-time usable guns that you could come across and use, and they just cause massive damage. So we know that they already kind of scaled that back in Mass Effect 3, but we literally have not seen them in any gameplay footage. So I wouldn't put my money on the fact that there's going to be heavy weapons in the game, just usable like a normal weapon. We touched briefly on weapon rarity in my previous video, but now I have some confirmed information to share. So there are 5 tiers of weapon rarity in the game. Bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and N7 is the most rare, and they actually have some qualifiers, whatever you want to call them, with those. So bronze and silver don't have them, but gold is an uncommon weapon. Platinum is a rare weapon, and N7 is an ultra rare weapon. We've seen some of those in the trailer, so we know that N7 is top tier. We also know that the maximum weapon rank that's been seen so far, including all of the previews and people that have gotten hands-on time with the game, is 7. So you're gonna find weapons ranking from 1 all the way to 7, and maybe even higher. My guess is it goes up to 10, but you know, they just weren't far enough in the game to see a rank 10 weapon yet. We also know that you can upgrade the same weapon over and over through those ranks. So you can take a rank 1 weapon and upgrade it all the way through 7 to whatever the maximum may be in the game. Each weapon has 6 stats that we can use to compare to other like weapons. So we've got damage, rate of fire, max clip size, max ammo, accuracy, and weight. Again, weight is going to factor into that power recharge speed. We don't know how that works yet, but it's kind of nice to have this spread of weapon stats. I feel like we kind of had this in previous games, but it was less detailed. Now it's even more detailed. We have more data to work with, and we can accurately compare weapons. In terms of melee weapons, we also have a nice variety. We have swords, shivs, hammers, the Omni Blade, which is the default weapon, and then biotic amplifiers, which haven't been shown off yet as far as we know. So swords include the Asari sword, and as far as we can tell, an Angaran Firan. I don't know if we know if this is a sword yet or not, but it has been listed as a melee weapon in some of the footage. Swords and shivs are supposed to be maximum speed and precision, allowing you to get in and out of the battle very quickly. We've seen some gameplay of like blinking forward and then slashing with, you know, a sword or a shiv, so that looks really exciting. Hammers are weapons that cause the maximum amount of damage according to the devs, and what we've seen so far, hammers are Krogan. Maybe there's going to be some different kind of hammers, we're not really sure, but once again, the Omni Blade is the starting standard weapon. We know that Liam, one of our squad mates, has overclocked dual blades because that's his favorite weapon, so perhaps we ourselves can get overclocked dual blades. That would be very awesome, but we do know that the Omni Blade can be upgraded, so hopefully you've got a nice variety of things we can do with our Omni Blade. On to crafting. This is what we know so far about crafting and how it works in Andromeda. So there's a system in Andromeda called scanning, and we've seen this in some of the earliest gameplay footage, the 4K trailer, for example, where Ryder pulls out his Omni tool and he scans a flower, for example. So scanning is going to allow us to scan a lot of objects in the world, and doing that will unlock blueprints for armor and weapon crafting. We also know that the more scanning you do and uploading to the research and development department of the Tempest, the better crafting you'll be able to do. So more scanning equals better crafting. Keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that this feature is fully optional. You don't have to craft anything in the game. It's just there if you want to do it, and honestly, why wouldn't you? If you can craft better stuff, you know, by more scanning, you should absolutely take advantage of this. Side note, apparently you can craft Ket weapons after some encounters with that race. As you guys know, the Ket are a new alien race in Andromeda. Apparently after you encounter them, you can craft some of their own weapons, which is very cool. Through the process of crafting, you can also set custom names for whatever you craft. So if there's something that you create and you want to name it after something from the original trilogy or anything you can think of, you can set custom names for your crafted items. Also, blueprints have a rarity tier system of their own. So the blueprint levels that you're going to encounter in the game are bronze, silver, and gold, bronze being the worst and gold being the best or most rare. Also, the better level of the blueprint, the more it's going to cost to craft in terms of materials and whatever else you may need to craft something in the game. In terms of weapon customization and mods and upgrades, I've gathered as many sources as possible from all of the previews and the Andromeda Initiative video that focuses on this with Liam. So this is what we know of so far. There's an aerial lubricant upgrade that increases the rate of fire on your weapon while you're hovering, which makes no sense whatsoever. So while you're hovering in the air with your jump jet, you have a higher rate of fire with that weapon. That's a very odd mod, but that kind of highlights how crazy and ridiculous these things are going to get. These next 3 weapon mods are all Liam's favorites from the Andromeda Initiative trailer. So the Carnufex hand cannon can have a grenade launcher mod, which almost just looks like explosive rounds. The Katana shotgun can have a laser shells mod, and the Avenger assault rifle can have an electrical conduit mod that makes it look like some kind of, you know, shotgun. It looks crazy. Apparently, sniper rifles can have a fully auto sticky grenade mod. They shoot fully automatic sticky grenades. That sounds absolutely insane. Shotguns can have burst fire and automatic fire mods, and then finally the assault rifle can have some kind of beam weapon mod attached to it. From these previews and what people have been able to do, it sounds like the weapon crafting is insane. It sounds like we're gonna have just a maximum variety of things we can do with every type of weapon in the game. Very exciting stuff. Alright guys, that's all we know about weapons so far as of February 25th. I wanted to get as many things as possible into this video and also have this kind of serve as its own, you know, not require you guys watch the other video that I made, get all of this information in one place. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you learned something new in this video. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. And also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already for more Andromeda content leading up to the release and tons more once the game comes out. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.